Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your September 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Virgo, September 1st to the 15th, 2021, Virgo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. At our root we have at the bottom we have our rooted self. The left hand side we have our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, and we have the Strength, which is Leo. If we have Scorpio energy within our chart, Virgo, that's going to be coming through very strongly. If we're born on the cusp with Leo, or we have Leo energy within our chart, this is going to be coming through very strongly. Both of these energies are going to be rooting us. Transformation, death and rebirth, and strength. It's not going to be brute force strength. It is that quiet, undeniable strength. And yeah, we'll talk about that more in just a minute. Then we have the Ace of Swords, God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift. The Tower, the Seven of Wands. Let's move this so everything fits and you can see. The Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And the Knight of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Our emotional self. We have the King of Swords, definitely taking this gift. It would be stronger if it was from the same suit, but we have the King of Swords coming forward, so that's taking the gift. We have the Knight of Swords right here, so we're absolutely taking this gift. This is just amplified. We go from being a knight, a defender in our inner selves, to being a king, to being a monarch, to being a ruler within our emotional self. And it moves us to the Seven of Swords. Interesting that the swords, the mind, is at our heart at this time. We have the Eight of Cups, we're walking away from what we once thought we would love. And we have the Seven of Swords. And we have the Seven of Wands, the repeat, and we have the Seven of Swords. The repeat of the of the number 7 3 times is that during this time we have to be really honest, okay? Virgo, that's just going to be something important. If we lie, even if it's just a little lie, it's a little like mistruth, misunderstanding type of thing, we get called out. We're also going to find that we value truth above everything else, even if it's uncomfortable, even if we don't want to hear it, even if we don't like it, we are going to really want the truth. We have Ouija written on this heart, so there's a sense of information coming in that maybe we hadn't always asked for. So do be mindful of that here. Now let's look at the energy we are to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. We have the high priest, which is the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It's Taurus energy, and we have the Star, which is Aquarius energy. We have to be really mindful of people of power offering us our dreams, and yet not having anything to kind of back it up, or manipulating our dreams to be able to manipulate us. So that's going to be something we need to be aware of during this time. It's not saying that it's going to come from a Taurus or from an Aquarius, but we're just saying with this combination here, we do have to be mindful of the way that it presents itself, the way that it moves forward during this time. People wanting to manipulate our dreams for their own purposes, for them to exploit us in one way or another. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And that's soul's healing. This is the soul star chakra, located 6 inches above our crown. We have the healing coming down, raining down on us, focusing us, moving us forward. This is a time to heal the past traumas, the past dramas, things that were overwhelming to us, things that held us back. We're going to start to heal. We're going to start to be empowered and emboldened by this healing. So do be aware of that and let in that healing energy. During this time, we can be so focused on everybody else, everything else, the changes that are moving forward, that we forget that we need to heal, we need to center, we need to pay attention to us and what we desire. Now we have the death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, which can lead to a mourning period. It's like, I'm not who I once was. Or it's kind of like, when a relationship ends, or when you leave a job, or when you move, there's an excitement. Maybe that's there if it was on your own choosing, but there can be this sorrow, and there can be this time where we just need to acknowledge why we're moving forward, acknowledge what we've been through, acknowledge who we are, where we're going, everything like that. So when we have transformation coming forward, it's very important to acknowledge everything that we have been through that has gotten us to this point. So with the death card, we are going to see ourselves looking at our past selves. We're going to see ourselves looking, maybe even connecting with our past lives. And there's a sense of, how far have I come? How much have I changed? What has guided me to this point? What has led me here? And this needs to be a time where we pay homage to every transformation of ourselves, of our incarnation, of what we desired in life, of where we want to be. And it moves us to the strength card. It moves us to understanding that strength can be a very quiet thing, a very calm, loving thing. It's kind of like when you have people who are loyal to, let's say, a general, or to a family member, or to whatever. I'm reading a book right now, and he's a very honorable man, and he's a general, and all these people are just so dedicated to him. So that's what came into mind. Yes, he has this brute force strength to him, and that is admired, but he keeps his word. He does what he says. He, stands up for what he believes in. And this is a time where we can look at strength, and we can find strength in the most unlikely of places. Because whenever I see the strength card, I really get the vision of my great-grandmother, who died at 98 years old, lived a really hard life, abused, poverty, this, that, and the other thing, lived through world wars, depressions, came from absolutely nothing, was an immigrant, all this stuff, all these hardships, all these pains, all these disappointments that were stacked against her as she grew. And there's just such a strength to her. Even in my memory today, there's such a strength to somebody that you would look at and you would think, oh, well, they're so weak. They don't have the strength. Yes, she did. She had astounding, amazing strength. So when we look at ourselves, and we're not bodybuilders, when we look at ourselves and we don't have these huge, cars or anything like that, we can think, oh, well, I'm not strong. But it's the strength of the heart and the strength of the spirit. It's the strength of the tenacity to keep on putting one foot in front of the other. That's strength. It's the strength of love and kindness and respect and follow through. And it leads us to being the hero of our story. The Knight of Wands is the White Knight. He charges in on his horse, and he saves the day. And if you were like me, I always wanted to have somebody come in and make everything easy. Save the day. Just make things not so difficult all the time. Not so much of a fight. But here's the thing. Nobody will save you. It is time that we save ourselves. And that's what we're seeing in our inner selves. There's a fire. There's a sense of moving forward. And there's this sense of, I need to. If not now, then when? And if not me, then who? How will I move forward to where I need to be if I don't take this gift that's being handed to me? If I don't take the power of my voice, the power of my mind, the power of my insight, the power of my ideas, and move forward, go after, charge to my destiny. And this is what we're doing. We're cutting through doubts and fears and the poison of the world and the hurt and the hatred of others. And we're finding ourselves embracing the Queen of Wands. And remember, knights guard queens. So we have the Knight of Swords guarding the Queen of Wands. Air fueling fire. And so here we have our passion. We have our tenacity. We have a new dawn, a new day, not being afraid to roll up our sleeves and go after what it is that we want. Not being afraid to look at things in a different light. Not being afraid to embrace our magic. And by this, it isn't conjuring that we're talking about here. It is the magic of the individual. It is the magic of the power of a person to move forward in tenacity and determination. And when I think of this, I think of my favorite goddess in Greek mythology, and that's Hestia, who gave up being one of the main goddesses in Olympus because she was like, the fighting has to stop. And for that, she was honored in every single Greek and Roman house as the goddess of the hearth. And so here, it's like, it doesn't have to be that we're, center page all the time or ever. What it has to be is that we move forward, saying, this is my gift. Her gift was fire. Her fire warmed families for so long, from the Greek Golden Age to the Roman Empire, and it's spoken about today. And it moves us to the Seven of Wands. It's like, as I embrace this fire, as I embrace this passion of the Queen of Wands, as I embrace the tenacity and determination of self, of soul, of what I desire, I need to choose my battles wisely. I need to look at my emotions and calm them, understanding that I can get caught up in the moment, but I need to choose my battles wisely, defending myself when need be, but also not giving my energy away to anger, to hatred, to hurt, to pain, to disappointment, to small-minded people who will never understand, and to people who think they already know your story. It's like, no, you don't get to. But I don't get to waste my energy on small-minded, ignorant people. I get to move forward in the power that is me and say, you do you, but I'm going to do me. I defend myself, I take the high ground, but I stand in my power, and that's what we're doing here, Virgo. We're standing in our power, and as we do so, we come to the Tower. And if we have been through a Tower time, a really intense, chaotic time, or a time where we've just been shoved out of our comfort zone so profoundly, we think, oh my gosh, I have to defend myself all the time because we have the fight or flight mode coming up. I have to defend myself. I have to, move forward this way. But the Tower is saying divinity is throwing us out of our comfort zones for a reason. It's not to fight. It's to learn how to stand in a new conscious development. Learn how to stand through trials and tribulations and hurts and pains and disappointments and angers and upsets. And say, I'm still here. And then we have this beautiful gift that comes from this transformation. And the Tower doesn't have to be a bad thing at all. It can be, okay, we're given a task at work that we're like, okay, how the heck do I make this work? Or we're trying to organize schedules and everything and balance everything, and we're thinking, how do I make this work? How do I move this forward? And the Knight of Swords comes in. Well, the Ace of Swords comes in, which is taken by the Knight of Swords, and says, insight, ideas, understanding, victory, crowned by purpose and tenacity and power and brilliance. And this is what I take. And this is how I move forward. And this is what I desire from me. And so we cut through doubts and fears. We cut through the cobwebs of the mind. And we start to have things fall into place in ways that we didn't think we could have them fall into place. We're like, oh, wow, can that be it? Can it be this simple? Or can it be, this way? And the answer is yes, of course it can. Yes, of course it can, and yes, it is. And it moves us then to the King of Swords. So when we have this power of the mind coming in, and this understanding and this tenacity and this insight, it moves us to the King that says, claim this throne, have the heart and the mind connect, becoming one. The King of Swords is the most masculine of the kings because he is the warrior king. And you might sit there and say, okay, well, it doesn't mean that you have to be masculine. No, it doesn't. But I always see it as that energy, just the sacred masculine around the King and the Queen of Swords, more so than the other kings and queens. I mean, I see a progression going downward, which one is more based on the feminine, which one is more based on the masculine. But what we're talking about here is being able to hone and embrace power, and being able to cut through denials and hurts and, again, pains and disappointments, everything that the swords open up the mind to. And as the mind is opened up, we start to claim our voice. We start to look at things openly and honestly. We start to say, I want this, not that. I'm moving forward this way, not that way. This is where I want to be, not here. And so we open ourselves up to power. We open ourselves up to being able to be that warrior king, being able to fight the battles of the heart and know when to fight and when not to, when to rule and when to step back. And it moves us to the Seven of Swords. It's like we take what we need and we leave the rest. It's like, okay, I don't need to take this with me. It's kind of like carting around things that don't mean anything. It's like, I don't need this. I don't want this. I'm not taking this with me. It's not helping me in any way. I leave it behind. And this is about the mind and the heart coming together. What things do we go back to in our mind that don't serve us a purpose? The hurtful words of a guardian as we grew up, the angry, comments from teachers or, friends or, loved ones or whomever, lovers, that stunted us in one way or another, or pain that kind of compiled. We were told this, like, oh, you're not that smart, and then we were made fun of by the teacher, kind of mocked a little bit, and then we had a partner who mocked us in that way because they all went for our vulnerabilities. It doesn't have to be smart. It can be whatever it is that you went through. And they left that scar. They left that hurt. They left that pain. And here, it's like, why am I carrying this around? Why do I keep on going back to it? I don't need it anymore. And what's more important, I don't want it. And so we purge ourselves. And that's where we move to the Eight of Cups in the public arena. We walk away from something we once thought we would love. And we can have this kind of almost Stockholm syndrome with pain within us that we thought we needed it. Oh, it's not, these words aren't holding me back. They're just things that I need to hear so I don't get, too cocky, so I don't let my ego take over, because I need to stay grounded. And so if I say these negative words over myself, I am staying grounded. And that person really had my best interest at heart. They just didn't really know how to express it. No, if it hurt us, we need to acknowledge it, and we need to say, you don't get to stay in my mental space anymore. You don't get to be that voice that comes up instantaneously that says, see, you really couldn't do it. Because now we do it. Now we break forward. Now we go after. And with the Eight of Cups, we find ourselves in the public arena, walking away from what we once thought we would love, walking away from what we once thought would fit, but it doesn't fit. So we're not doing it anymore. It isn't right. It's kind of like, I always see the Eight of Cups as trying to fit your feet into shoes that just don't fit. They just don't fit. They're too small. They're too big, and they hurt. And you can't make them work. I mean, too big, you can add socks, right? But too small, you can't make it work. And so here with the Eight of Cups, it's like, why are you trying? Because they're pretty? Because they were on sale? Why? If it doesn't work, release it and say, no more. No more am I doing this. I can't walk that path anymore. I can't try and make this, square peg fit into a round hole. It's hurting me. It's like banging your head against a wall. It doesn't work anymore. And it's not going to. And it leads us then to the Seven of Swords, looking at what we're carrying that is no longer worth it, is no longer worthy. Now, we can be connecting to spirit in ways that we get these insight, we get these ideas, and it's like, wow, where the heck did I get this from? Like, where the heck did this come from? Needing to acknowledge, needing to understand, needing to open up our eyes and say, this is how I'm moving forward, this is where I need to be, this is what I desire. And really looking at what we're carrying with us. What baggage have we brought forward into our waking world? Because we have so much going for us. We have so much power coming to us. We need to just release. And as we release, we stand our ground. We stand our ground for what we need and what we want and for the transformation coming forward. And we step into strength. And it's a strength that comes quietly and gently, but purposefully and powerfully. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the Princess of Cups. It's manipulation of emotions through somebody pretending to be naive, through somebody pretending to know better. This is going to be a time where we have to understand the power of our hearts and not let other people take that power away from us. It moves us to our subconscious chakra message, which is truth. This is the throat chakra. We need to embrace the truth as it applies to us. So one person can say, I love gardening. And another person can say, I hate it. I hate it. It's hot. It's never ending. It's just a chore. I don't want to. So when we embrace truth, it's like we embrace our likes, our dislikes, what is right for us in the world, what isn't right for us, and we move forward that way with powerful understanding and tenacity. And so here, as we embrace our truth, as we look forward to our dreams and our desires, we embrace our throat chakra. We let ourselves speak with power. We let our voice carry our desires. And that's something to not be wishy-washy, to not be one of those people who says one thing to one person and another thing to another person, also that they just like us. It's like, no, I speak my truth, I embrace my truth, and I walk forward in it. It moves us to our rooted self, which is the Fool. It's new beginnings. It's saying, I have to go after this. And people might think that we're foolish. People might not understand why. And that's okay. That's on them. But we move forward this way for the fact that we have to. The Fool is the hero in training. Because every single hero is a fool. Every single person who looks at somebody who has made terrible mistakes or has made mistakes and has like nothing, but says, I see hope and potential in you. Not even just like they've made mistakes, but they could have disabilities. They could, just be behind in things. And the person looks at them and says, I see potential in you. And everybody looks around them and says, well, that being a fool, that person, you see potential in that person? And they say, yes. That person who sees the potential in another that everybody else has walked away from and given up on, that person is a fool, right? But they're the hero to that person. Because they can be the one that changes that person's life forever. Heroes in stories. Everybody looks at them and says, oh my gosh, you're going to do that. You think you can do that? You think you can be that? Seriously. And they say, yeah. Entrepreneurs, people who start these businesses and everybody laughs and says, so, get a proper job. And yet they become extraordinary. They're fools to begin with. And so here it's saying at our very root, as we transform, as we embrace strength, can we have the strength and can we transform enough to embrace being the fool, to embrace seeing the beauty and the potential in a person when nobody else does, to seeing the beauty and potential within ourselves when nobody else does. It moves us to our inner self, our subconscious inner self. And that's the Five of Cups. Change your mind and change your life. And you will see the Two of Cups standing behind you. Instead of doubt and despair and hurt and pain, you will see love and healing, unity and respect. But we have to want to change the perception. It moves us to our subconscious emotional message, which is the Ten of Pentacles. Prosperity that lasts for generations. Wealth, bounty, brilliance. Blessings that come forward. This is contentment. This is dedication. This is beauty. This is understanding. And it is everything. And it is powerful. It's a completion of a cycle, financially, but also in the realms that we value as much as wealth. It moves us to our subconscious public self, which is the Three of Swords. I have to acknowledge the pain that I carry, the wounds that I have. It's going to be so important for our public self during this time to say, I see it. And these wounds that have been wounds for so long, by naming them, by owning them, by claiming them, we take the swords out of our own hearts. And a new dawn, a new sun, a new brilliance arises. Because now what once scarred us becomes the weapons that we use to defend ourselves, to move ourselves forward, to embrace our blessings, to, to shine in a light that is our extraordinary birthright. All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the transformative power that is to come. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo.